Very warm welcome to all of you to the class on history of early ancient and medieval India by Upinder Singh. So in this initiative, I will be holding you by hand and taking you through the entire textbook Early Ancient and Medieval India in a summarized manner. So the book is History of Early Ancient and Medieval India by Upinder Singh. And Upinder Singh, as you know, as some of you might know, is the daughter of Manmohan Singh, and she's a very famous historian. So let's dive into the book right now. So, what we have to understand in the first chapter, it is not a chapter, it is just an introductory part. It is about the ideas of early Indian past. In this, all you have to remember is three concepts. Okay, first one is BC. We in our smaller classes have learned BC and AD. BC is before Christ, and AD is Anno Domini, or we say it's after the death of Christ. So this BC is more professionally called in a term BC is called BCE or before Common Era, and AD is called as CE or Common Era. So BCE comes, see the timeline over there, BCE comes first, then comes 0, and then comes AD or CE. Next term which you have to remember is prehistory. Prehistory is a phase in which no written records were available for the construction of history. Proto-history is a period in which written records and available sources are available in plenty for the construction of history. Next, what you have to remember is Harappan script. Harappan script is the most important script which is undeciphered. It is the undeciphered script which is available for the construction of history. Next is Brahmi script. Brahmi script is the 4th century BCE script which is the earliest deciphered script. So remember that the Harappan script is the earliest script, but it has not been able to be deciphered. And Brahmi script is the script which belongs to 4th century BCE, which has been deciphered. Now we are coming into the first chapter. The first chapter is understanding literary and archaeological sources. So Upinder Singh has a particular way of presenting the historical narration. She presents it with a story in the beginning, and the first story which she presents is that of Rajatarangani. Rajatarangani is a book which was written by Kalhana. Began writing the book Rajatarangani in 1148 CE, and it ends by 1150 CE. Rajatarangani is also known as the River of Kings. River means eight. There are eight rivers or eight cantons. Rajatarangani is divided into eight cantons or eight parts or eight tarangas or waves. It is Rajatarangani written by Kalhana. And Kalhana's father was Chanpaga, who was a person who had influence in the royal family. And by the time of Kalhana's time, the family falls out of favor, and Kalhana starts the construction of history. So Kalhana is also, this is something which you have to remember. Kalhana is also known as India's first historian. Next term which you have to remember from the first initial portion of the lesson is literary sources. Literary sources and archaeological sources. Literary sources are all written records which are available for the construction of history. Archaeological sources are the tangible sources, that which can be touched by your hand. These are archaeological sources. They need not be just literary sources. So archaeological sources and literary sources together are called manuscripts. Archaeological sources and literary sources together are called manuscripts. That is something which you have to remember. The next point which you have to remember is that paper was invented in China in 3rd century BC. That is on page number 14, I think. Yeah. So the only thing which you have to remember is that paper was invented in China in 3rd century BC. And just you can skip the page, and you need not read the box. There is nothing important inside the box. And you can come to the chronology of literary sources. There is a table on that right hand side corner bottom of the textbook, and you have to see that box. That box is very important. The first important thing written over there is the chronology of the texts. We will start with Vedic texts. Vedic texts come first, It is the oldest literary sources which are available. Then comes Vedanga text. Second comes Vedanga text. Third comes Dharma Sutras and Tripitakas together. And fifth comes Ramayana, and sixth comes Mahabharata. Ramayana is older than Mahabharata. Always remember that. You need not have any confusion as to which is older. Ramayana is older than Mahabharata. Then comes Jaina canon. Then comes Sangam texts. Then comes Puranas. Then comes Tirukural. Then comes the Tamil epics Shilapadigaram and Manimekhalai. So you have to remember the order or the chronology of the text. First comes Vedic texts. Second comes Vedanga texts. Third comes Dharma Sutras. Fourth comes Tripitakas. Fifth comes Ramayana. Sixth comes Mahabharata. Seventh comes Jaina canon. Then eighth comes Sangam texts. Nine comes Puranas. 10th comes Tirukural. And 11th comes Tamil epics Manimekhalai and Shilapadigaram. Okay. Now we are moving on to the classification of literary sources. The oldest surviving texts in the Indian subcontinent are the Vedas. The Vedas are the oldest surviving texts in the Indian subcontinent. And Vedas are written in Sanskrit, and Sanskrit belongs to the Indo-Iranian branch of European family. Sanskrit belongs to the Indo-Iranian branch of Indo-European family of languages. So does Pali and Prakrit. Pali, Prakrit, Sanskrit all belongs to the Indo-Iranian branch of European family. The spelling of branch over here is wrong. I'm sorry for that. Then there comes dialects of Prakrit. Prakrit has various dialects. If there is a question, identify the various dialects of Prakrit. You have to remember that Maharashtri, Shauraseni, and Magadhi are the dialects of Prakrit. You have to remember that Maharashtri, Shauraseni, and Magadhi are various dialects of Prakrit. Then Abhabramsa. Then comes Abhabramsa, which is it is a developed form of Prakrit up to the end of first millennium CE. It is a developed form of Prakrit up to the end of the first millennium CE. And the final fact which you have to remember from this part is that there is Tamil literature. The oldest literature in Dravidian language is Tamil, and that is followed by Kannada. The oldest literature in Dravidian language, first comes Tamil. Tamil is the oldest. It is followed by Kannada. Now we are stepping into the sources for the construction of history. Sources, we begin with Rig Veda. Rig Veda is a work which is written in pre-classical Sanskrit. Rig Veda is a work which is written in pre-classical Sanskrit. And the next one after pre-classical Sanskrit comes Kalidasa's works which are written in classical Sanskrit. So we say that classical Sanskrit is that Sanskrit of which rules were codified by 5th or 4th century BCE by Panini in his work on grammar Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi is a book on Sanskrit which is written by Panini, and it was composed in the year 5th or 4th century BCE. The classical Sanskrit, we refer to that particular language which is used in Ashtadhyayi as classical Sanskrit, the rules of which were codified by 5th or 4th century BCE. Then comes Patanjali. Patanjali wrote the book Mahabhashya. That is also a book on grammar. Patanjali wrote Mahabhashya. Then comes Vairaruji, who wrote Prakrita Prakasha. Prakrita Prakasha is the oldest surviving Prakrit grammar. Vairaruji wrote Prakrita Prakasha, which consists of the oldest surviving Prakrit grammar. And the oldest surviving Tamil grammar is Tolkappiyam. The oldest surviving Tamil grammar is Tolkappiyam.